This week, conservative columnist Max Boot, in his column for the Washington Post, reminded conservatives across the country, and pretty much everybody in the country, that if Donald Trump were to make it back to the White House, he would in fact be far more dangerous the second time around than he was the first time he served as President of the United States. Let me read you specifically this portion from Max Boot's Washington Post column. Trump is likely to be 10 times more dangerous this time around because he won't allow any adults in the White House to act as a check on his worst instincts. No more Jim Mattis as Defense Secretary, John F. Kelly as Chief of Staff, or H.R. McMaster as National Security Advisor. We had better hope that popular perceptions of the economy improve and that a likely Trump conviction might dissuade swing voters from supporting him. Otherwise, come November 2024, we might be facing the end of the world as we know it. Now, the first thing I love about what Max Boot wrote here is that that's literally what I've been saying for the last year. I mean, almost just verbatim at this point. We've all been saying it, by the way, because everybody sees it and everybody knows it. And he points out the biggest issue here is that Donald Trump learned from his mistakes in 2016 to 2020. He had far too many people in that White House trying to tell him what to do. There were too many people telling him no when he wanted to do his crazy thing. He ain't going to have that this time. There will not be a soul in that White House that dares to go against him. If he says he wants to stay in that office for the rest of his life, they'll make sure it happens. If he says he wants to launch a nuke at Mexico to kill the cartels, it'll happen. If he says he wants to nuke the hurricanes coming towards the United States, it'll happen. If he says, like he did earlier this week, he wants to start prosecuting journalists for not being nice to him, they'll make it happen. You get the point? Yes, Trump will be 10 times more dangerous in a second term, as Max Boot points out. And part of the reason for the danger is not just because he learned from his past mistakes, it's because he won't have to face re-election again, right? The second term is when the presidents can really start to just not care about anything, right? They can do whatever the hell they want because they know they don't have to face the public ever again. But Donald Trump is a particular threat. And we've seen it again just this week. Threatened to go after journalists because they say mean things about him or things he perceives to be mean. Suggested that Mark Milley should be executed. Back in the old days, they would have killed him. And that's just this week. We have seen it. The folks at Midas Touch actually put together a list of 27 horrific things Trump said he would do if he becomes president of the United States again. And he will make sure that he surrounds himself with people who will let him do these horrific things. That is the scariest part of all of this. Ring of Fire has fresh content 7 days a week, so if you want to be reminded about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video goes up.